anything about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is bad. It's like if you let it go too bad and it goes behind the eye,
Yeah.
it can cause blindness in that particular eye. And I had it so bad it went into both eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's just painful at first, and like this time I knew what it felt like.
Yeah.
So
At least you know what to do.
I went straight to the optometrist,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm getting it again. I can feel it, and they looked. They're like, yeah, but it's at the very beginning. So
Okay.
and they treated it that day, and it was gone.
Oh, great.
Not gone, but the pain was. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Be right back.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry about the schedule and stuff, man. It's been hectic because right now the album's getting ready to drop. We're going into full-on rehearsals, and
Oh, yeah, I can
yeah,
imagine.
it's been a crazy time. So I have all these interviews that I'm trying to like schedule.
Manage together, yeah.
and then I teach and have family life and all this stuff. So
Of course.
yeah, it always gets pretty crazy, right?
Well, I mean, thanks for taking the time
Oh,
out
no worries,
to do
man.
it.
Yeah.
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 Of notes because
That's good.
I'm sitting here at the Connected Minds Cafe and Roastery in beautiful exotic Coquitlam. A very special guest, as all my guests are, that I'm very excited to have on the show. Perhaps best known as the drummer for the Devon Townsend Band and Project. He's played in numerous bands over the years, including God Awakens Petrified, Terror Syndrome, and Non-Human Level. He's been called Travis Barker of Metal by me just now. Welcome to the show, Ryan Van Poederyooen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, as you mentioned, you teach, you do clinics, and and I think it's pretty crazy that you teach on the road while you're doing on your tour. What makes you want to put in like all those extra hours? Because that is a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, but when you get on the road, you realize that there is a little bit of time to kill before, like, basically when load-in happens and when you get into sound check. It can usually be a couple hours, and I only started doing it recently, and the reason why is you end up touring the same cities.
Yeah.
So when I first started doing it, there was no way I was interested in really teaching or doing anything because I wanted to go check out the city, go do things and whatnot. But now that we've been touring I've been playing with them for 13 years, and I've seen so many of the same cities, and fans started asking me about it. That it's like, yeah, you know what, it'd be a cool way to have a one-on-one, people can meet you and in a way, I guess, give back.
Yeah.
So I started doing it, and I do it all the time. If there's certain cities where I know I have obligations or schedules, I won't teach in that specific city, but for the most part, I do it pretty much on every tour now.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
We actually met, I'm sure you remember, at the Long and McQuaid, and that was crazy because I've never, like, seeing you at a concert. Drummers, of course, always usually in the background.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see it like up close and watch, like Planet of the Apes or Super Crush. And you told the story about Planet of the Apes and kind of wowing Meshuggah.
Well, I don't know if it was. I think they were more shocked than wow. Maybe they were wowed. They're friends of ours, right? So we kind of have good laughs with them. But we were playing. The first time we ever played Planet of the Apes was in Australia, in Melbourne, and we were doing a festival called Soundwave, a big festival down there, and they have these side shows called Sidewave shows. And they just get different bands to group together and put on these shows. So it was us, Meshuggah, and I believe Dredge, I think, was opening.
Okay.
And anyways, we're playing the show and we're debuting Planet of the Apes live. And so there's all of Meshuggah standing inside the stage. I'm like, oh, really? Even though we're friends and stuff, it's like, like I've been fans of those guys way before I knew them as people. So, it's still a little intimidating, right? So we get through the set, and we actually played the song really well. Went off great. At the end of the night, who was it? I know it was Dick Loveman, and I think Thomas and Frederick. I can't remember exactly. It's a bit of a blur, but they came up afterwards and like, how do you even remember all that? And I thought, oh, you guys are just being goofs, you know, like jerking me off kind of thing, right? Because the Meshuggah, right, the masters of all those crazy songs that they put together and how they structure it and whatnot. And it's just like, whatever. And they go, no, seriously. And they were serious. They're like, that song constantly changes. There isn't a pattern. We have patterns in our music, and they repeat. They're complicated with polyrhythms and whatnot. But and it's like, think of it, you're right. You know? So they weren't joking, right? It's like, that's actually the truth, because I remember learning that song for deconstruction, and then going to record it was like a nightmare because there were so many different parts. So it's a very continuously evolving song, I guess you can say, for 11 minutes. Right?
Yeah, no kidding. That song is a monster.
Yeah, it is.
I've noticed that you're very much, and I guess kind of doing this is kind of a test to it, is that you're very much like kind of like an outgoing kind of people person, and as someone who is sometimes not so much, like that amazes me. Like at VIP events or whatever, before concerts, I've seen you like go up to people and like introduce yourself and say hi. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, you know, it's different because I can be a pretty private person too, but when you're in a situation like VIP or you're on the road or you see people who have waited, you know, an hour outside in the piss and rain, it's like, I'm not going to avoid them. I know why they're there and I know what they're doing, and I'll take that opportunity to fulfill what they want, you know what I mean? It's like, without the fans, we don't do this. Plain and simple. I'm here because of the people who buy those records and come to our shows. Plain and simple. And so for me to go out and approach people at VIPs or approach them when they're waiting for us outside of the venue, it's not that I feel I have to do it, I want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, because I know I'm going to put a smile on their face, it's going to make them happy. It's a positive experience for everyone. And everyone walks away happy. You know, I feel good too if people are stoked to meet me, and you know, I just made their day or something like that because I went up to them. Yeah, that makes me feel better too.
Yeah, we've met a couple times at like other concerts and like you've always been really cool. So thanks for that.
Oh no, always. Thank you.
At the clinic, you talked about how you got your start drumming. Do you mind indulging the listener and repeating one more time?
Sure. Basically, my father was a piano player, and he played in a cover band in Poederyooen where I grew up. And my brother and I would always go to their sound checks because they play like, you know, roller skating rinks and stuff like that, or big halls and stuff like that. And so we'd just go there and run around and do our thing. And then whenever they finished, I was always attracted to the drums. I'd just run up on stage and start banging away on them. And his drummer noticed over time, it's like, yeah, Ryan digs the drums, and you know what, he's actually keeping rhythm for not knowing anything about drumming. And so my father came up to me and was like, hey, you want to try drumming? You know? I was like, oh yeah. You know? So I was pretty excited about it. And what he did, which I'm very, very grateful for, the way that he brought me through the process, was instead of getting me a full-on drum kit, he just got me a single practice pad. He said, here's this, learn the basics, which is the rudiments, and practice, show me that you know you really want to do this, and we'll go from there. So I practice on that practice pad every day, you know? And about maybe, it might have been 6-7 months later, a long time for a kid, that seems like years, right? He came home with a set of practice pads. Not an actual drum kit yet, but still way better than one pad. And you know, back in the 80s, they were kind of like in the shape of like a drum kit, but it was just all practice pads. And so I started doing that, and then he said, same thing, you know, keep it going, and we'll just see where this takes you, kind of thing. And then when I was 12 years old for Christmas, and the same story I told at the clinic, which is, and I'll never forget it, is like my brother and I always woke up super early, 5-6 in the morning, like all kids do. And you run out there, check out your presents and stuff. But as we were going to our rec room, we had a rec room in our house, and we had a living room, and we always thought it was weird that Christmas that Dad set up the Christmas tree in the rec room, because it was always in the living room. And so, anyways, we were walking towards the rec room, and we heard noises and stuff. I'm like, what's that, James? Talking to my brother James. I don't know. And so, like I said, the clinic, being the big brave brother that I am, I sent my little brother in to go see what's wrong. And he came back screaming like a banshee. I thought Michael Myers was in the next room and ready to kill us, right? And he comes back, it's a drum kit. I'm like, what? So I run in there and I'm freaking out, 5 a.m, bashing drums. My mom and dad come running out, and all I can remember is my mom going, I told you I was going to do that. But that was the defining and changing moment of my life, because we all want to do what we love for a living, and love what we do, right? And that was it for me. And I looked up at my dad after he got me to stop playing, and I said, you know what? I'm going to grow up. I'm going to be a rock star. What I meant was professional musician, but you're a kid, so you say rock star. I said, I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to tour the world. I'm going to have drum companies, endorse me and all these things, and I'm going to be in the Modern Drummer, the big magazines, and next thing you know, all these things came true. But that was my introduction to drumming, and then from that point on, it was crazy. It was 110% effort all the time. I had girlfriends and stuff, but all my friends would be into cars and stuff. I was like, screw it, I was drumming.
Was that discipline, like, you mentioned that too, like, really disciplined, you're playing every day and things like that. Was that harder as you got older? It was like your youth, teenagers?
Yeah, like, it wasn't really, because that's what I wanted to do. All I could think about when I was going to school was getting out of school and moving to Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
And starting something, starting that journey. I had no idea who I'd started with. You have ideas, you play with your buddies in Port, we're like, we'll move to Vancouver, we'll record a CD and get famous, It's like, everyone thinks like that, but I was 17 when I finished school. I was young, and I hightailed it to Vancouver. I'd already been playing in bars and stuff with cover bands when I was 15, 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had to go sit. Like, it'd always be hotels that you play on the island, and I'd have to go sit in the hotel room in between sets, right? Because I was underage. But I focused on that, and so I had already had live experience and stuff, and I moved to Vancouver, and I just took it on full bore there. Never looked back, and just played around as much as I possibly could to get my name out there.
Does your dad still play?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a wicked piano player. He's a really good piano player. My dad's like, both my parents are huge influences, but my dad's probably, I always say, my biggest influence in music. They say, who's your biggest influence musically or drummer or whatever, and I'll just say Dad. Because he, not only did he get me started and whatnot, he really showed me to believe in yourself and to work hard and to visualize what you want and to do what you want with your life. And it could be music, it could be anything, but he always had this positive reinforcement that kept me going, and I think that single-handedly helped me get to where I wanted to be, and truly enjoy it and love it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Before you were going to these sound checks or around the same time, were you already kind of a percussive kid, just like hitting pots and pans and shit?
From one of my parents, I don't remember it personally, but my parents did. They said I was always interested in music. It wasn't necessarily hitting pots and pans, but out of my brother and I was always the one saying, hey, can you play the Beatles? Hey, can you play Queen? I'd be very specific about the music I want to hear. They said that a lot of it would be, a lot of my favorite songs were very drum heavy. And now that they think back to it, so,
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I loved music, so they kind of had an inkling that I'd be interested. That day when I ran up to, started playing the kid all the time after sound checks, it became obvious.
Yeah. We talked at a show, I think it was when you guys were co-headlining with Gojira a few years back, and I told you about, I'd gone to London to see the Retinal Circus there, and you had said you normally didn't get nervous before shows, but for that one you were.
Yep.
Now that you've had, even before that with like By a Thread, you've had more experience with like big shows like that, Retinal Circus, the Albert Hall. How does that compare to each other?
Like, Retinal Circus comparing to everything else now?
Yeah.
That's a good question. See, the thing about the past is you can never really change how you truly felt back then, right? And for me, that was just nerve-wracking because of the size of the venue compared to By a Thread was smaller. And the fact there were a crap load of cameras around it was a way bigger budget, bigger stage and everything. So, that'll always remain kind of like the pinnacle gig for me as far as being a little bit nervous before because of that fact. When I got to a gig like Royal Albert Hall, that's way bigger and even bigger production, more cameras, and it just kept on getting bigger. But I was prepared for it. I knew what to expect. If anything, I was more excited for that one because I'm playing one of the most iconic gigs in the world.
Yeah.
So, I'd say Retinal Circus kind of buffered the future for me, but hey man, it's like we go play Wembley or another crazy gig. I don't know how I'm going to react to it until I get there. And another thing too is the songs and the set that you play plays a lot into it. What made me extremely nervous for that gig, I think it's the first time I'm kind of saying this in an interview, is playing Strapping Young Lad songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like you have to go up there and emulate Gene Hoglan. You have to go up there and represent Strapping Young Lad by playing those tunes. And it's nerve-wracking. It's like you wanted to do good for Strapping. You wanted to represent them and pay respect to those guys. And there's the guy who is Strapping, Devin fronting it. Yeah. And with a completely different backing band, with the exception of Jed, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
But, half a Strapping Young Lad was there, but that made me pretty nervous for that gig.
And I guess the fans would be sort of expecting, like, if you're going to be playing that, they expect it to go a certain way or something like that.
Yeah, totally. But, when I played it, if you listen to the tracks that I did, I learned Gene's parts. It's like I didn't add my own fills or, change the beats or anything. It's like I paid respect to Gene as best as I could. So.
In addition to working with Dev, you've also got Terror Syndrome and what I didn't know, I was reading another interview, is that you actually dealt with some of the lyrics and kind of the production side of things. Mm-hmm. What was the difference between doing that and normally what you're doing, like just tracking drums or something like that?
Well, yeah, because like I paid for that whole record and I wrote all the material. Like that was Ryan's idea of what a metal band would sound like,
right.
And with God Awakens Petrified, I was a large part of that. My best friend Grant Reeder and I, we started that, and I was primary songwriter along with Grant. So that had its certain sound, but I just wanted to do something that was me. I've always wanted to do that. So when I did it, I decided, man, I'm going to do everything.
Oh, wow.
It's like, no, I didn't engineer it, but what I mean by everything is I produced it, I wrote lyrics, I wrote material, and I played them. Mm-hmm. And the things that I couldn't play, I'm primarily a drummer. I can dabble in piano a bit because of my dad and a little bit of guitar, but nothing. That's even close to recordable, right? So get everyone else and people that I respect and I think would be best for that to record the rest of the record, and that's what I did. But yeah, when it came down to producing, writing, lyrics, drumming, it was all my vision.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you said in the same interview that sort of you when you drum, you kind of play for what the song needs.
Yep.
And I think I like people who can do that and don't go, well, I'm just going to do my thing, or, film. I read some article about, I think John Legend or something, getting kicked off a record because he wouldn't sing, he wouldn't do what the producer wanted, he'd only rap or something like that. And I think that it's good to have that ability to be a bit malleable to what he wants, to what the song wants.
I think, key word I've always used is beat a verse. You know what I mean? It's if you're going to be a session drummer, if you're going to be a teacher, and you just want to go far in the music industry, I truly believe you need to be a diverse musician. You know what I mean? You can't put all your eggs in one basket. You can't say, I love metal and that's all I'm going to play is metal.
Yeah.
Well, if that big pop gig comes around for a session that pays you $600 a song, they're not going to look at it, And when I started this career, I just didn't want to play in a band. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be a session player. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to play in a band that tours the world and does all that cool stuff that you dream of.
Yeah.
Well, I accomplished all those things, but in order to be there, I learned some very valuable lessons as I was going. Because there were times where, I was in a Rush and Primus and all these crazy bands, and I'd go jam with bands, and they'd be like, yeah, you're a good drummer, dude, but chill. This song doesn't need that. And I slowly started learning those lessons. Thankfully, before I got into heavy session work. But by the time I got into session work, the reason why I get hired back a lot is because they'd say, wow, you played for this song, your fills aren't crazy or anything, they're what's needed.
Yeah.
And not only that, I had a good memory. I'd go in very rehearsed, and they'd say, can you do this in the second verse and this in the chorus? No problem. And I'd do it.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. They want someone who can come in there, get her done, and move on to the next song or the next part.
Yeah. So I do think that, somebody like Justin Bieber or Miley Cyrus could use blast beats or something.
It's changing music is always happening, and it's always evolving.
Yeah.
And it always comes back. It's like so many people are saying, "Oh, rock is dead." I remember reading Blabbermouth and Gene Simmons and a whole bunch of people were going off like that. I'm like, no style of music's ever really dead. It goes in phases. It comes in, comes out, and when it comes back, usually there's something different added to it. It's like the big craze with nu metal, and they're adding, DJs and stuff to heavy metal. Like, who would ever thought that? Back in the 80s when rap was coming out and stuff. So, it's just evolution of music. Right? It's the way I always look at it. And being diverse is important.
Yeah. Speaking of diverse or musical chameleons, you've said that your dream band would have who as the vocalist?
Would have who is the lead vocalist?
Yeah.
You know what? I have different things and it changes, but for example, my favorite all-time vocalist, if I had to choose one, is Mike Patton from Faith No More, by far. My favorite guy in metal, just for his screaming, and I've always loved Phil Anselmo from Pantera.
Oh, yeah.
I love his voice, man. And another guy that I'm really impressed with, because I think he can do the singing, screaming thing, he's the best in the business as far as I'm concerned, is Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Really?
That guy blows me away with how amazing he can sing, and then his screaming voice is just it's listenable.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you hear a guy screaming, you're like, yeah, I can handle that for a couple tunes, but I can listen to a Slipknot record, and I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, but my overall favorite, hands down, no questions asked, is Mike Patton, just because that guy can do anything.
Yeah.
And he's just so talented, and his melodies are amazing, his lyricism is brilliant, just everything about that guy is incredible.
So I guess you saw them when they came through Vancouver?
Oh, yeah.
That was
I'm a fan of music, it's like, I'll pay for concert tickets if whenever. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't sit there and go, no, because I'm doing the same thing that I should get a, screw that, man. Even if I know people in the band, I'll go buy a ticket. I don't care. It's like I'm a fan of music. Paul McCartney came. I'm a massive Beatles fan. And I got tickets. It's like I'd never seen them, and I had to see a Beatle my entire life,
Oh wow, yeah.
And so to see that concert, it was actually pretty emotional for me because, that's a lot of my childhood, man.
Yeah.
Actually, I was listening to the Beatles on the way here. Yeah.
I heard it was a great concert.
Pardon me?
I heard it was a great concert. I wasn't able to go.
One of the best concerts I've ever seen. And trust me, man, I have seen a lot of shows. Not only just from touring, but even before that, I was going to a concert every month. But yeah, Paul McCartney, 73 years old, put on better shows than 90% of the people out there now. It was unbelievable. He didn't leave the stage for 3 hours.
Wow, that long?
It was incredible. Yeah.
JJ was telling me about Prince the last time he was here, and he just had a 2 or 3 hour concert and then just stayed on stage and just noodled around to play for another 2 hours or something like that.
It's amazing, man. Again, great artist, right? And, I love it in general. I'm just a fan of music. And I love all the styles and genres. Another thing I listen to a ton of is reggae. I love Bob Marley. I'm a big Bob Marley fan. It's just positive, happy music. I put it on and it puts a smile on my face right away. Same with the Beatles.
Yeah.
Those two things guaranteed to make me smile.
Yeah.
On the grimmest day. I don't have too many grim days.
I don't get why. I'd never want to pigeonhole myself into that, liking one thing. It's so weird how I find people do that sometimes.
I find it's more the younger crowd. Growing up, I'll never forget when I was young. I had long hair. I'm like, I'll never cut my long hair. I'll
me too.
I'm 50. I've shaved head, man. And now I'm trying to get it off my head. It's like, and and then I remember listening to metal and. Yeah, this is all I'm going to listen to, but, and then slowly your roots, and what were my roots? My roots were Queen, the Beatles, Pink Floyd, and all the stuff my parents listened to, and they listened to everything, Van Morrison, it's like, the list goes on and on and on. Bob Marley was another thing they listened to, and later on in life, once you get past that, and once I started being more diverse with session work and all that stuff, I started going back to my roots, and I'm like, I was dumb to say, but I was young. And you know what? The thing is we all make mistakes, man. But what do you do with mistakes? You have two choices. You learn off them, which is the best thing you can do, or you just throw them by the wayside and you learn nothing, and then chances are you keep on making the same mistakes in life, and you don't ever learn from them, which doesn't help you improve.
Yeah. I love your health page that you started, and you, for one thing, it's nice to see somebody in the public eye who doesn't have strictly a science or background or something like that, who's not just pushing bullshit shortcuts.
Yeah.
Because if you keep up with that stuff at all, you see it a lot, and it's nice to see somebody putting that, hey, this isn't quick fix thing.
Yeah.
You have to be disciplined and work out and eat healthy.
You have to work.
Yeah.
It's the reason I started that page is I've just always had a positive side because of my parents growing up, and I truly believe in the way that I got to where I am today is based off not just positive thinking, but most of all working hard while maintaining all these positive attributes. Okay, and that page, the reason I started is I would post positive stuff on just my artist page and Facebook, but I realized that's more for music, whereas I'm talking about something completely different here, and it doesn't gel all the time when you're just posting. I like consistency, right? To keep the fans happy, and the people who support me. So I thought, you know what? It's worth me taking the time, every day or every few days to post something important that I truly believe in on that page that maybe can brighten up someone else's day, or they can take something from it. And all I do is really post all the things that have worked for me in my life on that page, whether it's regarding health, working out, eating right, or positivity, or work ethic, or the list goes on. I've talked about so many different things, and it's what strikes me. That day, it's like I may have had an experience the day before, and I'll literally write it in the notes on my phone. I'm gonna write something about that tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
And that's how I come up with these things. And some days, you'll find that I won't post on there for 3 or 4 days because the bottom line, like I post on my artist page every single day. There's something always to talk about, and it's important for my career to, keep people going. But the health page, I just don't want to post something and bullshit people, because I'm not a bullshitter. It's like I would rather go, okay, if I'm not feeling something or don't have anything to write about, then just don't write anything. There's lots of stuff they can look at if they're interested in that page to post post. But as soon as something strikes, I'll write about it.
Yeah.
And there's times I'll write 5 days in a row, and there's times I'll write a post, and then it might be another 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
But every single time, it's something that's hit me that day or the day before.
Something that you feel is like important and worth putting out there.
And something that I've experienced.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking of experience.
Yeah.
And I've had some amazing private PMs on that page from people who follow me and just said how it's helped them, or this post meant so much to them. You know what? Mission accomplished. That was the whole purpose of that page.
Yeah.
I don't make any money off it. I don't do anything. I don't have to do it, but I want to because I love helping people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You've got 8 rules of positivity, right? Or 8 kind of rules you live your life by?
Yeah, there's...
I'm butchering it, I know.
I posted one time, this was years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, on my artist page, and I posted a couple times since. People always ask me, how'd you succeed? And I said, okay. And it took me a couple hours to write the original post, because I just wanted it to be 100% what I felt. And I just said the first thing is you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. If you don't, then there's no point in moving forward. You have to set goals. You have to visualize accomplishing those goals. You know what I mean? You gotta dream big, huge.
Yeah.
Like you have to have that dream. Something's got to inspire you to keep going. Okay. The next one is you gotta work hard, and that's one of the big ones. You gotta bust your ass. End of story, right? The other thing is enjoy the journey. Too many people sit there and they'll say, I'll be happy when I get there, I'm gonna be happy. Well, you know what? If that takes you 20 years, that's a shitty 20 years, man. Because you didn't enjoy, getting there. Each little win is a success. You should revel in that every time. It makes you feel good. That's what makes every day worth living for. But these people are like, I'll be happy when I'm retired. You just wasted an entire life, And the last two, being grateful every single day. It's like, and people sometimes will sit there. I was doing these drum clinics in Australia, and this one guy said, "Oh, what if you can't find something to be grateful for?" And I was waiting for someone to say that, right? And I said, "Man," it blows me away that people ask that question. But if you can't find something to be grateful for, take your fingers, put it on your wrist, and you feel that pulse there. That's something to be grateful for. The fact that you're breathing here, standing here, even talking to me during the clinic and living life in general. That's something like, come on.
Yeah.
And he sat down right away. At the end of the clinic, he actually came up to me and he's like, man, he goes, I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I said, no. I said, actually, I'm glad you asked the question. It took a few clinics before it came up. I said, but it's an eye-opener when you can actually realize how much can be free. The very last step is never quit. Holy shit, there were so many times, man, where I was like, this isn't going to happen, To be honest, when I got the Devon gig, God Awakens Petrified was talking to a couple different labels, and we're getting some good hype and press, but band member changes happened. Just too many things weren't going on. Some band members weren't getting along. People had different visions. I could see it was starting to fall apart. And I put, it had been 8 years at that point into that band, and we were so close.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating. I remember going, just keep going, just keep going. Next thing you know, out of the blue, I get a call from Devin Townsend. And it just goes to show, it's like I never, and I was thinking, I thought about quitting a couple of years even before that point.
Yeah.
But I always knew that this is what I wanted to do, and if I kept going, you can't decide how it's going to happen. People can call it divine intelligence, God, the universe, whatever. You just got to do your part and keep going, and the opportunities will come if you work hard. If you open as many doors as you can, right? And that's what I mean by never quitting. Is if you truly believe in it, you're giving everything you have, there's always a way to get there. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, making the music industry, it isn't as hard as everyone claims it to be. Because everyone's like, best example is one of my buddies said, hey, making it in the music industry, that's like winning the lottery. And I said, you know why you never made it in the industry? Because he was complaining. He said, I did all the hard work, but I never did it. It's like winning the lottery. He said, the reason you didn't make it is because you actually think it's a lottery. Instantly, your chances are diminished, man.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that. I just thought, wow, when's it gonna happen? Mm-hmm. Keep going. Keep doing new things. Well, if that didn't work, then do this. Mm-hmm. I worked hard, man. I worked really hard. And that's the big thing. But again, to condense it, those 8 steps, it's like believe in yourself, dream big, set goals, visualize, work hard. That's massive. Enjoy the journey, be grateful, never quit. 8 steps. I posted that, and man, I remember that got shared a few hundred times or something, and had a couple thousand likes, and it was crazy. It's and it was inspiring for a lot of people. So that really helped me open that page. Sorry, I went on a bit there, but
no.
It's really important to me and my life, and if I can share that with other people and help them achieve not just music, but anything they want out of life by doing the same things, then that makes me even happier, because you know what? It's no fluke that so many famous people, whether movie star, president, or whatever, musician, did all those same things. They say it maybe in different ways. It's all the same shit, dude.
Yeah.
It really is.
How arrogant would it have been if that guy in Australia said, what do I have to be grateful for? You're talking to me, aren't you?
Yeah, well, that could come across the wrong way. It's like, hey, you know what you're talking to? You know who I think I am? No, but what I meant is the fact that he was just standing there,
of course,
alive.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that he was talking to me, not at all, but there is. And every morning I do wake up, it's like, I don't want to come off sounding cheesy, but this is just who I am, man. But I am grateful. If I have a drink of coffee, it's like, here I am drinking coffee and sitting on a deck, and I don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job, because my job is to play and write music and tour the world doing it, Holy shit. I'm living my dream. And the other thing too is happiness. So many people think happiness, and I know this, is based around money. It isn't. I'm far from a millionaire. I have no doubt that one day I'm going to be wealthy in that sense too. Everyone's had that dream.
Yeah.
But I'm as happy as I could be right now. And it's awesome. And just because I'm happy now doesn't mean that I want to take it even further, because I do. Mm-hmm. But holy shit, being content and happy and through all that hard work, it's a nice thing.
Yeah. I think that's something that a lot of people kind of forget sometimes is, they see whatever thing they want, and they don't kind of appreciate that. Look at how far you've made it to that point from where you were. I've been on medication for depression for about 2.5 years, and kind of had it on and off since I was like a kid or whatever. Mm-hmm. And But listening to you like at the clinic, talk about like your steps of positivity. So it's just kind of like, fuck. Like it's kind of nice to hear kind of an affirmation, I guess, of those points, and that kind of has been one of a lot of things to kind of kick my ass and get me doing more stand-up shows and things like that.
And you know what, man? That's awesome to hear. But here's the best part about it is I've had people go, yeah, you did this, and because of you, you know, I'm doing this now. And it's like, you're wrong. And they're like, what do you mean I'm wrong? And it's like, they're saying, well, I'm paying you a compliment. I said, you know, all I did was give you information that tons of other people would give you the same information. And there's other people out there who think that many out there think the same way. So, but in the end, it's always you. Yeah. It's always you who makes everything successful, who does it all. Because you can listen to it, and if you don't follow through with it, that's also you. You know what I mean? So the bottom line is this, and this is a huge one that I didn't talk about because I didn't have a lot of time at the clinic. 100% responsibility.
Yeah,
your life is 100% your decisions. The only way it never will be your decision is if someone's holding a gun to your head and they're making you do it, literally. Otherwise, if they, you know, I don't know how many times I've heard, oh, it's not my fault, so-and-so told me to do it. Yeah, but you had the final decision. You could have ignored all their advice, but you still did it. And then, no matter which way you slice it, our lives are 100% up to us. So you gotta run with that, man. And I can talk an hour on that alone, but you know, you apply that to all those different steps and stuff, man. It's amazing what you can do in your life, right?
Yeah. I heard a great quote. Wherever I went, there I was, and it kind of means that, you know, wherever you are in life, you still have to deal with you. So it's not going to be things outside of yourself that are going to make you happy. Like getting to a certain point, oh, when I'll be retired, I'll be happy, or things like that. Completely, well, not quite completely. On a day where I read a thing about you recording Z2, or Z Squared, and you had 3 days to track drums, and ended up becoming 2 because of studio problems.
Studio was a mess, man, and none of the gear worked and such, but that's true.
How do you keep that kind of level head? How do you not?
Again, it's attributed to those steps. So this is what happened. I went in there, had 6 weeks to learn 2 records, and that was a nightmare in itself.
Yeah, that's a lot of material.
I actually got tinnitus, the ringing in your ears, which never goes away. It's 100% of the time, 24 hours a day. I got that from learning those records. And, you know, it's because I'm practicing 8 hours a day, 6 days a week to learn all this, to be able to go to LA and record it. And so that in itself was added tension to it. But when I got there, first day we're getting sound stuff and nothing worked. The board, when we actually bypassed the board, ended up going right into the computer. And luckily we had my brother there, who's a very successful engineer in the music industry, like record Nickelback and mix the record, you know. He's worked with Chris Cornell and just like massive artists. That's all they do. They did all their big records, and so luckily we had him there and he saved the day. But it came down to 2 days then to track 2 full records, and Devin's like, dude, just do what you can. We'll have to make changes. Like flights were booked for me to go back and everything. And I just looked at him and said, you know what, man? I said, I'm gonna do it. And I have a vision, I have a goal, and I'm gonna hit it. And all I said was just let Jay and I do our thing. You know, it's like I've worked out the parts. We aren't gonna, usually when you're going to record an album, you mess around. Oh, why don't we try this or try? I just said there's not gonna be any of that. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do what I do, and it was rehearsed and. Devin heard all the pieces, like we had already produced it and worked it out beforehand. And so he just sat in room outside of the console after the first day. You know, we came out, I think, about after 9 or 8 hours. I did Z2 first, just because it was the most difficult one out of Sky Blue and Dark Matters.
Yeah.
And so Dark Matters I did first, I did it, and it was like, holy shit, you know, and it was done. And I got like maybe 7 hours sleep, and I went and I did all Sky Blue the next day. But the thing that kept me, to answer your question, that's how it all works. But what was it exactly? I wrote a quote on my snare drum, and it was make the impossible possible, you know. And and there's a quote that I wrote a long time ago, and the word impossible isn't actually what it seems, because in that word it says I'm possible. If you want to play with it a bit, right? And I never forgot that. Like, that's brilliant, right? And so I wrote it on my snare drum. It's just like make the impossible possible. And I always looked at my snare drum and the quote that I had. I don't even know if that's the exact quote, but it was along those lines. It's just something that hit me. And anytime that this is what kept my level-headedness throughout the recording. Anytime I was having troubles, I'd look at that snare, I'd read it, and go, Jay, I'm just going to take a couple minutes. Jay was like, yeah, cool. Just grab a sip of water, you know, get some food, whatever, come back, sit down, and whatever it was, obviously it's attributed to me rehearsing a lot of stuff, but I come in and I nailed it every single time. Wow. I just go back in and I'm just like, hey, I'm going to do it this time, you know, take that rest, clear your head for a second. Yeah, and we did that, and we just kept on doing it. You know, like I remember Earth, the song Earth, there's lots of blast beats and stuff. And the first take I did through it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And it's like, holy crap, okay, let's do a couple more. But by the second take, it's like, we had to punch in, you know, for the blast beats and stuff. And, you know, the third take, it was like, okay, you know, we gotta regroup, and I'd have to walk away a few times, right? Just to nail the blast beats. But in the end, we got it all done. And that always kept me there. And the vision of me flying home on that Monday, it was something I had in my head, you know. It's like that's what I was working towards, you know. And even Deb was like, if we have to book a few days, said I'm doing this in 2 days. Wow. I did it. I walked out of there and went on vacation.
That's incredible,
it was awesome.
dude.
That's honestly what did it. It was just that one little thing. And I say that on my web health page. You know, I'm just like, you know what? Have these little quotes that you can say to yourself in difficult times, or just even every day. Because the more you say them, the more you believe them. And it's not that they aren't true. It's just you need to build that confidence. You need to believe in yourself. Yeah. And so that snare drum head, and when I changed heads, I wrote the same thing on it. That honestly got me through a lot of the tough times.
Well, we're close to your time, so I guess we'll wrap it up. What can you tell us about Transcendence and the upcoming tour?
Okay, Transcendence is probably the most unique record the Devin Townsend Project has done to date, in the sense that Devin actually wrote, I think it's about 6 songs in total with the band. Okay. Now, certain songs we'd only have a small part in. Other songs, there was certain songs where it was almost like a 5-way split in a sense. Wow. As far as the musical end of it, he writes all the lyrics and vocals. Right. But this album has a lot of the band involved in the songwriting. Okay. Over half the record. And it was really interesting. Make no doubt about it, it sounds like a Devin record, no question. But yeah, there's different things that have added to it, which make it really interesting to listen. And I think the flow of it is really cool. I think the way that he listed the songs throughout the record, now that we can listen to it, is awesome. And the cool thing is, like, all of the Devin Townsend Project records were kind of theme-based. Deconstruction was crazy. You know, Addicted was your rock record with Annika on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ghost, self-explanatory. Key, self-explanatory. Like 4 radically different records. When you went back to Epic Cloud, we kind of revisited what the most popular selling record. Addictive was by far the most popular selling record out of those 4. And so we kind of revisited that with Epic Cloud. You know, don't need to say anything about Z2, like very theme-based, right?
Oh yeah, no kidding.
And, you know, where Sky Blue is more almost of a pop rock record, you know, with a lot of poppy stuff on it. This record, Transcendence, is kind of an accumulation of all of those things. Like, there's some crazy, heavy prog moments. There's a poppy tune, you know, there's a rock tune, there's a weird tune. It's
awesome.
It kind of touches on everything that is Devin Townsend Project. Right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's how I would describe it. I love the record, not just because it's the newest record or that we had writing in it or anything. My favorite record of everything that Devin's done is Ocean Machine. You know,
oh yeah, me too.
Always will be. It's like I like Transcendence. I still like Ocean Machine more.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even play on it. Right? It doesn't. I don't need to play on something for me for it to be my favorite.
Yeah.
But I think out of all of the DTP records I've been involved in, this is my favorite. This and I'd say Epic Cloud. You know, like I really like Z2 because I got to do some fun drumming and stuff. But you know, it's not an album personally that I could just sit down from start to finish and listen the whole way through. You know, there's certain songs I'm like,
yeah.
You know, and that's nothing against Devin's writing, but Transcendence has a really cool flow to it, and it's a really diverse album, so it kind of keeps you interested. Whereas a theme record, you know, it's a theme record.
Yeah.
So a lot of the same, you know what the vibe is, but that's how I describe it.
That's awesome. I'm stoked to listen to it.
Yeah, it's a cool record, man.
Nice.
I think we're gonna play a lot of it live too.
Hope so.
Yeah. So.
Well, Ryan and the Devin Townsend Project will be playing Vogue with Between the Buried on Me on Saturday, October 15th. Tickets are available at ticketfly.com. Ryan's media are rvpdrums.com, Ryan Van Poederyooen on Facebook, RVP Health, Body and Mind on Facebook, and at rvanpoederyooen on Twitter. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being on, man.
I appreciate it. Good job on my last name, man. You say it really good. And you know, lastly, for all the people that listen and stuff who listen to this, first of all, I think you're doing a great thing. I like how you approach your interviews. So good work.
Oh, thank you, man.
And I hope this makes it on there. It's important, but great job. And
praise, cut that out.
Yeah, exactly. And lastly, to all the people who support the DTP, like I said earlier, and it's like I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now without the support that they give us, because that's how we're able to do this for a living, you know. And I'm extremely grateful and thankful to have these people support us, and endless thanks to them, you know. And I know it goes both ways. They support us because they want to hear more from us, you know.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I dislike bands who don't show enough gratitude towards their fans, you know, and I just want to make sure that, you know, all of us in the DTP are very grateful to the people that support us, because, man, you know, to live your dream, it's a pretty awesome thing, man, and every day I wake up, I'm very thankful for that, so thanks to all those people out there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening.